Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA.
These are violent criminals, so they're not going to go down easy.
ABC Tuesdays.
Let's get this done.
The Rookie is back.
We have 2 new rookies starting today.
Howdy.
Being a cop is stressful 24/7. Every year on the job is different.
And Training Day
We have a serial killer at large.
never ends.
We need an ambulance!
The Rookie. All new Tuesdays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Welcome to DSC's Campfires with Larry Weissoon, a unique blend of hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, and the outdoor lifestyle. DSC's Campfires is brought to you by DSC, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus, award-winning revolvers and pistols. Stealth Vision, high-tech, precision-driven equipment for the modern hunter. Mossberg, American-built, American-strong. Vineyard Max, deer attractants created for the aroma of success, game feeders, and other innovative hunting products. Red 55 Winery, signature wines from the Emmy Award-winning country artist Miranda Lambert, owned by Rick and Beverly Lambert. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode, if you will, of DSC's Campfires. And I have to tell you, I've got some very special guests with me today, Mr. Joe Cunningham from Stealth Vision, and Mr. Jim Bequette, a very dear friend of many, many years, who also happened to be the editor of Shooting Times during the years that I was there many years ago, and then did a whole lot of stuff dealing with all kinds of TV shows. And Jim and I have been beyond friends. We've also had an opportunity to work together on several different projects years ago with the Real Tree Outdoors and to develop their magazine and a few other things. So what we're going to do this time is I'm going to turn this over totally to Jim, who is going to be interviewing Mr. Joe Cunningham from Missouri, but with Stealth Vision, and I'm sure you've got all kinds of questions for him, Mr. Jim. So if you'll go ahead, it's up to you from here on out.
Joe, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure to be here, guys.
And my first question is actually, if you could give us just a quick thumbnail of the history of Stealth and the founder.
John McCall is the founder. He's been an eye surgeon for 40 plus years. Him and I worked with a company previous to developing Stealth Vision. And he wanted to get to a point where he could develop the best optics. The other company didn't want to upgrade or stay kind of up with the times. So he said, "Hey, Joe, are you interested?" I said, "Doc, I'm coming with you." And because I know Doc, he doesn't like finishing second. He likes finishing first, period.
Again and again.
Again and again, whatever it is he does. So 3 years of research and development to develop this scope. And we've been out on the market going on about 3.5 years, and so far our success has been great, and we look forward to improving that drastically and getting in some big stores.
So him being a specialist in the eye surgery field, what does he bring to the table in terms of optics?
I can tell you, for one, he developed and patented a lens for glaucoma eye surgery that reflects 99.7% of all reflective light. And we talked about, he says, I've got to be able to integrate that technology into optics in the hunting world. So I know for a fact that he had a conversation with the people that seal and do all our glass and do all that, but they didn't understand what he was talking about. And he actually flew out there in a room full of the engineers in Japan. He had to explain to them what he wanted done with these optics, and he did. And after 3 years, it happened. And everybody that looks for our optics goes, "Wow, and it's just a great feeling. Even Larry he's a
Amen.
full-fledged stealth vision all the way.
Amen.
And not just our hunting optics as far as scopes, but our binoculars and our spotting scopes also.
And y'all are developing all kinds of things as well too.
We are.
It's not just purely optics. Because I've got a tripod you guys put together for the spotting scope.
Yeah.
That is the finest spotting scope to begin with. But then the base from when you work on, oh my God, it's the best tripod I've ever seen.
And something that a lot of people, they see our tripod, don't know is 2 of those legs off that tripod screw off, and you can use them as walking sticks.
And that's because I'm old, Jim, and they know I need some walking sticks when I'm walking, so they got here that I'm hunting.
Well, and I was impressed when I was using your product the other day out in the field. You also make a bipod.
Oh yes, we have a proprietary bipod that is out of this world. We work with another company, LRA, and we have our own proprietary one now. So we changed a few things that we thought would help improve that bipod. For instance, instead of 16 degrees of cant adjustment, we have 32 degrees. The stability of this bipod, I've already had one person ask me if he could get one because he shoots long-range competition, and he wants to use our bipod to do that. So, of course, I'm going to get him one.
I'm going to ask a question here. Why the cant to that 32 degrees? Why is cant important?
Cant's very important. Anytime you're shooting over 300 yards, you want to make sure you're level when you're shooting. For instance, if you're 3 degrees off at 1,000 yards, you could be 24 to 30 inches off of your point of impact. That's what's very important. We developed for the 32-degree cant. Let's say you're in the mountains hunting and you're on a rocky ledge and it's real uneven. Well, you can adjust the legs on that bipod to get close, and then you have the adjustment of 32 degrees. You will be able to get even no matter where you are hunting, or you'll be able to get level no matter where you're hunting.
How will you know that you're level?
Because the internals on our scope, we have an internal
Jim's
bubble.
laughing over here.
I know he is. Well, he experienced it. I can't wait to tell you all that story.
I
can't wait to tell you. But we have an internal bubble level inside our reticle, and then we also have patented a green light system. And with that green light system, when you're within 1 degree of being perfectly level, not only do you have the bubble level, but you have a green light that comes on. And green means go. Green means let's squeeze that trigger. Isn't that right, Jim?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Hey, one of my issues over the years, and I've been in, good God, dozens and dozens of hunting camps, is a guy will buy a custom rifle or a high-end rifle, spend $2,500, $3,000 on the rifle, but he'll put a $200 scope on it. And it's like, that doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. I'll be honest, your optics are going to cost more than your gun itself for the most part, or be very comparable. Because that gun's only going to perform as good as what optics you have on it. And our optics, they're not cheap by any means, but you're going to get what you pay for it. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Another question I've got, and I'm curious about your approach, is a lot of guys are into long-range shooting now. But for me personally, I know there are guys out there that think, well, I can buy this custom rifle and put on this really high-end optic, and I can go shoot an elk at 1,000 yards.
Well, it just doesn't work that way.
Now, explain your position on that.
Well, I'll tell you what we do at Stealth Fishing is we've got about 3 or 4 companies that we work strictly with them. The guns they build are proven, and they're proven accuracy. Okay, so once we put the scopes on the guns, we level them to the action, so everything's level. Then we go out and we shoot data. I shoot most of the data. And what I do is I zero that gun after I've broken the barrel, seasoned the barrel, and make sure it's broke in. And how I do that is make sure those muzzle velocities shrink to a certain muzzle velocity within about 12 or 15 feet difference each shot out of the muzzle. That's telling me that gun's broke in. Okay, so once that's happened, and obviously a lot of cleaning in between, and before I go shoot initial data and foul it in 2 or 3 times. I'll zero the guns at 200 yards, or if the customer would like it at 100, we can do that also. And then we shoot all the way out to 1,200 yards with
so
400.
You're talking about the custom turret.
Yes, with our optics, with our guns that we're selling, which we can also do, people's guns if they want to bring them to us. It's called a scope mount job. We put our scope on it, sheet data. But we zero them at 200 yards. We'll shoot 400, 600, 800, 1,000, and 1,200 yards. So what we're doing is we're morphing the drag of that bullet from 200 yards all the way out to 12 and everything in between. So when we go to burn that ballistics turret, it's going to be spot on. It'll be spot on. When you want to dial 775 yards, you dial 775 yards. You get level, get a green light, pull the trigger.
But you're doing that for certain elevations, certain conditions,
Yes.
all those kind of things. It's not just an automatic thing.
Exactly. Like we'll burn a 1,500-foot turret, covers you down to sea level, up to 3,000, maybe a little bit more. For instance, 4 turrets are going to cover you up to 12,000 feet. So the first turret comes at no charge with whether you buy a scope or a gun package. The additional ones we just charge $125 for.
That's amazing. No one else in the industry does that.
There might be a couple that are doing it, but the meticulousness that we take into consideration, the guns don't leave unless they are spot on. Perfect.
So, I want to brag a little bit about my experience.
I hope
my first hunting experience.
At least you're talking now, or you can.
With Stealth Vision. I was telling Larry, I said, long story short, hunting whitetails, I had the opportunity to shoot a whitetail in failing light at 460.5 yards, which, as I told Joe, is the longest shot I've ever made on a whitetail deer. And I, honest to God, if I had been shooting with just about any other optic out there, my gun would have been in the case, because in that low light situation at that distance, you got to have a special optic, and you get back to this. You're only as good as the equipment you carry, and like I said, my gun would have been in the case. I would have given up.
Yeah.
But that rifle scope combination allowed me to take a shot with maybe 5 to 10 minutes of daylight left, and what did he do,
What
Joe?
was the result, Jim? let me tell you what the results
One shot,
were.
and it was hooves up.
You squeeze that trigger. You squeeze that trigger, and that deer fell straight to the ground. Didn't take one step, fell straight to the ground. And I have to add something too. So, Jim, he may have come out of it after the recoil a little bit, but I said, Jim, you dropped him in his tracks, and he could not talk. He couldn't talk. Larry, I'm asking him questions. Jim, you okay? He couldn't talk. All he could do was smile, and nothing would come out.
Nothing
came out. And then I said,
Well, he didn't need to. When you get right down to it.
I know. And then I said, after that, I said, Jim, is that the farthest shot? I said, I didn't know.
Right.
Is that the farthest shot you've ever taken? He goes, I've never shot anything half that far, and it would take me a half a day to walk to that deer. And I tell you, that excitement and that adrenaline and everything, and for me also, that excitement is what it's all about.
Amen.
Showing something to somebody that they've never thought they could do possible, and they do it with ease. That's what our optics are all about.
The three of us have a mutual friend, Dusty Vickery,
Oh yeah.
at Choctaw.
Yeah.
Tell Jim about Dusty's first experience. When I invited him down when we were doing a little seminar with Ron Spomer and a couple other guys that came down, but we invited Dusty to come down as well too. What about that?
So Dusty comes down, and he hadn't shot pretty much anywhere over about 300 yards, right?
At the very most, yeah.
And I said, well, Dusty, I'm going to start you off at 500. And he goes, I don't think I can shoot that far. Well, he bullseyes the first shot at 500, and he's right at bullseye the second shot. I said, is this getting boring yet, Dusty? He says, well, if you say so. So I said, let's dial up to 800. And he does the same thing at 800. And he's right there at 1,000 and 1,200. So since then, I know for a fact. So Dusty's going to be a dealer for us for our optics and guns.
Choctaw Hunting Lodge.
At Choctaw Hunting Lodge.
Owned by the Choctaw Nation.
In Oklahoma. And since then, He's went and spent the money and built a range from 200 to 1,200 yards with all steel.
Jim and I've had the
We've shot
opportunity
that
to be there.
Have you? I haven't been there yet,
No,
but I
it's
know
a
I'm going
fabulous
to.
lodge. I mean, fabulous lodge, fabulous range as well, too.
It's beautiful. I mean, that's the excitement that gives us the thrill when people can do things and we can show them what they can actually do that they didn't think they could.
I want to tell you, while we were there like 3 weeks ago, and Jim's going back there tomorrow after we do this to hunt.
Oh, great.
The last shot I fired with my Mossberg 700 PRC with a Krieger barrel that thankfully Avient put together for me with our stealth vision scope, shooting Hornady ammo at 1,200 yards. I took one shot and I did center the target at 1,200 yards.
I saw that picture,
with
Larry.
a perfect.
I did. I saw that picture.
The dial up.
Yeah.
And so that combination, as far as I'm concerned, of starting with the stealth vision scope, then going to the Hornady ammo that we've been shooting, and then with that barrel, that Avient heat release and rapid heat release and technology that have put together. Not only does that barrel not heat up, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well too, but the accuracy on those barrels
It
just
improves.
makes it stiffer. It's unbelievable what it's done.
What the technology that Aviant's incorporated in on the barrels themselves, and I'm not talking just about certain barrels. I'm talking about all barrels. If it's a minute gun or a minute barrel, their process can make that a half a minute gun by the
look
wrap
what we've
that
done
they
here
do.
with Mossberg.
I know unbelievable. They're shooting way out there.
Yes.
With factory guns and barrels.
Yes.
It's awesome.
What's
And our optics, of course.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But what's exciting from my perspective is if you partner a good firearm with the type of technology that Avient brings to the table, you got the optic, you got the ammunition, the 7PRC, for example, from Hornady.
Yes.
You pair all that together.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
It's a win-win.
It
is. It's a win-win.
It genuinely makes you an MOA shooter. You know, you're a minute of angle shooter almost automatically.
Well, it even makes you a little bit less than an MOA shooter.
Hell, Jim, I remember when Larry first came and he shot, it was like, this is Larry Weissum. And he's getting like excited, like he's doing stuff like, did I just do that? This is Larry, who we're talking to right here. And so everybody knows he works for us now.
Yes.
So it is awesome.
Because of choice, because thanks to Jim and a few other, Jim, when he was editor at Shooting Times, I was at Shooting Times, that introduced me to every optic company that was out there, every rifle company that was out there, every ammunition company that was out there.
So I'm going to fill y'all in on a little something new, too. So not only do we have 3 different optics, and we have 3 different spotting scopes now, and we're going to end up having, at the end of this year, probably 4 different binoculars, one being a rangefinder.
Which works unbelievably because I've been using one.
But the new thing that nobody knows about, and I know I mentioned it to you, Larry, but we're going to have our own thermal system. We'll have a clip-on and we'll have a fixed thermal scope for our optic or for our guns, and it is night and day. I mean, when people see this, they're going to want to buy them.
You just put a lot of excitement into hog hunters out there.
I'm
Our
addicted
hunters
to it.
in general as well too. Now we were here with Avient, and you spent a lot of time with Mike Mosley and Jesse Barrett.
Yeah.
We're looking at some suppressors as well too.
Yes.
And with the technology that these guys are developing right now, with the rapid heat releasing opportunities that are there.
Yeah, it's above and beyond. And not only that, but they've talked to me about our bipods. So we're going to try to do our bipods and make them half the weight that they are. If that happens, I can tell you, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's going to take a little while. But if that happens, every hunter, every shooter will want these bipods.
Well, the 3 of us sitting around this table are going to have the opportunity to utilize those to field test them, right?
We're getting ready to.
I love it.
Well, it's Larry and I have been in this industry 4 decades plus.
At least,
And when I entered the business, I thought of myself as a 200-yard maximum shooter. Now, because of this new equipment and incredible optics, it's it transforms everything. I mean, it all of a sudden I feel, and as you know, Joe, confidence is everything.
100%.
And if you've got confidence in what you're carrying out in the field, you can make a shot. And I proved it the other day.
Yes, you did. Confidence is
Yes,
confidence
you did.
is everything. It really is.
And but y'all, what I like about Stealth Vision is that somebody will buy a scope for their rifle, or one of the rifles you guys put together. You bring them in a lot of times and give them the opportunity to come to your range there in Crockett, Texas, on Doc's place, John McCall's place, and you're shooting. And those guys, before they leave, they're shooting unbelievably
1,200 yards.
1,200 yards and shooting unbelievable groups.
Yeah, we charge a little bit for them if they want to come in to stay a couple of nights.
Yeah,
you know, and have the experience. But we feed them, we entertain them, we shoot, we show them things that are possible that they never thought would be possible with the shoot.
Well,
the shooting.
Bring Dusty in. You know, we brought Dusty in,
he's hooked.
And it's I guess it's his son-in-law or nephew or whatever it was. And these guys had never shot. It was his son. It was his son. And these guys never shot beyond probably about 250 yards at the most. Yeah. And within just a little bit of telling what to do, learning about the turrets, learning about the wind calls. You know, these guys were shooting at 1,200 yards.
And Joe, the message I have, bottom line here, is with my tired old eyes that have had cataract surgeries and everything else.
Same here.
You've brought me back into the shooting game because of your optics.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And it's I want you to pass that along to Doc.
I will,
because it means a lot. You know how important hunting is to Larry and I want to thank you for that.
So you've never shot past a couple hundred yards?
No.
And when we told you it was 460 and dialed up, and your field of view and the clarity at that time of the evening was pretty outstanding, wasn't it?
Like I said, I was speechless. I didn't
Literally, Larry, he was speechless.
I remember the first thing you told me about that said Jim could not speak.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to cut this short because you know what? We've got an opportunity to go hunt still this afternoon. We're going to do some long range shooting still. We've got to take a bunch of does. I still have an opportunity maybe to take a buck if we find the right one. So let's cut this off right now, and we'll re-adjourn. I'll spit it out here properly because we've been also have had a great time while we're here.
It's been a fantastic time, and the camaraderie of the people that are here.
This group that's here is
unbelievable. And Jim, I appreciate it, getting to know you and meet you over the last few days. And Larry, you know I love you.
And it's mutual. With both of you guys. You know, both of you guys know that.
And I look forward to our next one.
Yep,
we will, and with that, we're going to remind everybody to join us right back here next week because right now we got to go out and do a little bit of shooting. We have a little bit of hunting we still need to do, and I want to thank both you, Jim and Joe. Thank you so very much for being with us here on the DSC's Campfires, and we'll be right back here next week. DSC's Campfires has also been brought to you by the Crown Bar in LaGrange, Texas, Texas Wildlife Association, Habit, Our Gear, Your Adventure, Double Nickel Taxidermy, and Burnham Brothers Game Calls.